Wealth doesn't respond to hard work. It responds to your frequency. And this is why, in order to create more wealth abundance into your life, you must change the frequency that you are emitting in the universe. And this is exactly what I'm going to talk to you about: how to activate a frequency of wealth that makes money chase you. And most people think that if they work hard enough, that's when they will have the success and the wealth that they desire. But the truth is, it is nothing to do with external, it is all to do with internal. People who are wealthy, who creates higher level of wealth and abundance, the only difference between them and those who don't have money and success is that they are operating from a very different frequency. And this is why you have to understand the depth of how to activate the wealth frequency so that money and abundance becomes the byproduct of who you are, your being, because your being is consistently emitting certain frequency in the universe. And if you can master that frequency and energy, you will master your reality. You will master and command your reality to create the results you desire, whether that is seeking larger investment, whether that is creating a business that creates millions, whether that is getting promotion in your profession. Doesn't matter what that is, but when you shift internally, the reality will respond to the shift that is internal. That is a universal law. And we cannot manipulate universal law. That's why you have to become a match to your desire, to that success, to that wealth. So, what I want you to understand, if you are aware of Map of Consciousness by David Hawkins, it talks about there's different level of frequency and energy that we carry based on our emotional state. If someone is emotionally sad, if they are operating from shame, if they are operating from guilt, if they are operating from anger, then they are on the lowest frequency. They are operating from the lowest and the lowest of the frequency. So they can work hard, they can try to do everything, but nothing will change because they are operating within themselves with sadness, with anger, with abandonment, with shame, with guilt. And that's what will be emitting. But somebody who is operating from joy, love, peace, gratitude, they are operating from higher frequency. Their energy and vibration is higher because they are consistently operating within emotionally with love, with joy, with gratitude. So that map of consciousness really talk about, in order to shift your frequency, you must change your emotional state. And this is what I'm so big on. Your emotional state dictates what you attract in your life. People who are emotionally suppressed, who are holding on to a lot of shadows and dark emotions, they tend to operate from lower frequency, and the lower frequency emit lack in the universe. So universe only responds to your energy, your vibration, and it mirrors your vibration. When somebody operates from lack, they are emitting lack in the universe. And universe says yes. It only says yes to what you are holding, what you are carrying, because you are the co-creator. That's why universe mirrors, because the power is within you. Ultimately, the higher source, the universe, higher intelligence is really teaching you that you are the one who holds the power. Not the universe holds the power, you hold the power. The heaven and the hell is within. So, what it is telling you, if you want to change your life, you must change your energy, your vibration, your frequency. And the way you change your energy, vibration, and frequency is by changing your inner state of being. So, in order for you to want money to chase you, to be able to create higher level of wealth, higher level of abundance, you must recognize that in order to create that level of wealth, you must operate from your desired state, the desired state of abundance, desired state of love. You must operate from your desired state in order to create, in order to raise your frequency, in order to match that. But if the desire state is love and abundance and wealth and freedom, but internally, emotionally, you are saying, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, I was abandoned, I was rejected, I was not treated well, my parents did not treat well, I was not loved, I was neglected. This is the vibration and energy you are emitting. So the desire is on a higher frequency, whilst the energy within you is on the lower frequency. So that is a mismatch. There is a conflict between the desire and the inner state of your being. And your inner state of being is dictating, because that's what you are carrying. Whatever you carry will mirror. Always. So if somebody is carrying that they were abandoned, or they had to work very hard, or they had no support in their life, so they become extremely ambitious. And I see that with a lot of people, that they become extremely ambitious because they are trying to fill a wound or a lack within. So, for example, if somebody had that type of wounding, they were abandoned, they were neglected, and they decided because there was nobody to love them, the only way they can be loved and accepted if they become very successful. Even though the desire is high, they are operating from higher desire, but ultimately that desire is coming from a wounded place. That desire to be highly successful is coming from a wounded place. And from that wounded place, when they reach for that success, what does that look like externally? They are working hard. They are trying to do everything. They are perfectionists. They don't want to make mistakes. They want to be so good and so perfect in their work that no one can fault them. But they are extremely internally exhausted. They are burnt out. They feel empty. They don't feel enough. They feel like they have to carry the whole world on their shoulder. They have to carry the burden of the world. So, do you see the difference energetically? Even though they are working hard and they may make some money or they may create some sort of wealth, but ultimately they're carrying from that wealth with a lot of burden, a lot of exhaustion, a lot of pain. And what they realize, and that is the deeper truth I want you to hear, what they realize is that even when they reach certain level of success, they feel extremely lonely. They feel that it's still not enough. The bar keeps rising. So if they made 500,000, they want to make 1,000,000. If they made 1,000,000, they want to make 2,000,000. If they made 2,000,000, they want to make 50,000,000, right? It is never enough. And it's okay to aim big, but if it is coming from I am not enough, if I don't reach there, then there is a deeper wound that they are carrying that constantly push them to keep going, but from a very painful state of being. And that painful state of being ultimately will create, the frequency never lies. The universe never lies. The frequency never lies. Ultimately, there will be a breakdown, whether financially or whether emotionally, that either they will get physically sick, that they cannot work, or they will sabotage the money that they have on some level to find that peace and ease. Because ultimately the deeper pattern was they were looking to be seen and loved and supported, right? But because it was coming from a wounded place, even when they reached success, they were still feeling unsupported. They still felt unloved. They still felt abandoned. And the more deeper truth, if I go even deeper layer, ultimately that success is the mask to avoid the abandonment that they feel. Ultimately, they are the one who are abandoning themselves because they learned growing up that they were abandoned by their family or their loved ones. So they learn to abandon themselves and they hide, they mask that with success, that I am successful, but ultimately they're avoiding and they're hiding that abandonment that they are holding. So it becomes a mask. It's not the truth. It's not the truth. They are not fully embodying the success. They are not fully feeling secure within themselves. And that's why it becomes that smoke screen that tells you, oh, I am successful, but ultimately it becomes a performance. And that performance breaks eventually. Does that make sense? So, this is what is going on when somebody is trying to be successful and trying to build something from a wounded place. They crash and burn. They are literally have that experience where they either sabotage the company that they have or they sabotage their health, their well-being, and then they have to kind of restart, right? And this is why it is important to understand how our emotions really dictating our frequency, our energy. Those wounds that I talk about, they are not only living in your mind or your memory, but they are living in the self, they are living in the subconscious, they are living in the nervous system. So cell, subconscious, nervous system, they are all speaking lack. They're all saying, I'm not enough. They're all saying, I was abandoned. I was never enough. And I have to prove my worth. If I don't prove my worth, then I am not enough. So that is constantly telling that story. And that frequency is being created based on the story that is being told. And then that frequency is creating the lack. So when they reach for the higher goal, millions or wealth and abundance and freedom, they are complete conflict with the desire. The desire never gets fulfilled because the evidence within the body is lack. That's the evidence. And that we need to change the evidence. We need to shift the evidence in order to shift the frequency to match that wealth frequency. I hope that is clear. And this formula that when we are operating from lack, we are operating from negative frequency, right? And our desire is on the positive frequency, on a higher frequency. So mathematically, when you multiply plus the positive with the negative minus, what do you get? You get negative. It's a complete conflict. So when you multiply plus with minus, it is minus. It's not positive. So that's why the negative always wins. In that scenario, negative will always win because negative overpowers the positive. And you know why that happens? Because ultimately, when we are congruent, our subconscious, our cellular system, our nervous system is congruent with that truth that I was abandoned. I'm only giving you that specific wound example, but it could be any type of wounding. There are multiple different types of wounding, but I'm just giving you an example of abandonment. So if all of them is speaking congruently that I was abandoned, I was neglected, I was not supported, they are operating from that. So the whole body, whole system is speaking that, and energetically they are speaking that. Then the desire does not have that power. Desire is weaker in that scenario because desire does not have that many emotions. Because when somebody is holding such deeper wounds, their whole emotional body, their whole system is so strongly communicating that. So the desire has no power. In order to give that desire a power, we must have the same emotional intensity for this. And mostly people imagine their desire as a dream or as somebody they would love to have. It's more of like a fantasy. Most are like, yeah, one day that will happen and it will be incredible. It becomes a fantasy. And fantasy is not congruent because it has no emotional charge. Does that make sense? And when there's no emotional charge, it is a weak desire. It is not strong desire. And that's why the frequency will be constantly be operating in lack, because this is stronger. This is more powerful. This is more congruent with the system. So this is overpower the desire. This is why people get stuck. This is where the stuckness come from. Plus multiplied by minus is minus. So they are constantly battling within. They want their desire, but they feel the pain. They want to create higher level of success. They're operating from a wound. So that conflict, that inner battle, when that happens, the wound wins. The pain wins every time because it has a stronger emotional charge. There is a story, there is a feeling, there is a thinking. It's all operating through cellular, through nervous system. The nervous system is contracting, and it's like constant reaffirmation of the life that they lived. It's a constant reaffirmation. Even though with their words they may say, I am wealthy, I am abundant, I am a millionaire, I am a billionaire, but their frequency, their energy saying, I am not enough, I'm not enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not worthy. So what has more power? The frequency has more power than the words that they say, because it is so congruent with their system throughout in their body. And the truth about money, but before I go into that, I want to tell you something, that I am doing a live event called Quantum Money. If you truly want to understand how energetics of money work in order to create more expansion in wealth and abundance, you must join that event. It is happening on 26th of July, and we will go deeper into energetics of money, and we will go deeper into frequency shift for you to understand what has been in the way of you creating wealth. And once you understand that, once you shift your frequency, you will understand the things you need in order to create the level of wealth that you desire. So the Quantum Money event happening on 26th of July, you can click the link below to register for that event, and I will see you there. So money, and that's what people don't understand. In order to create higher level of wealth, you have to understand money. What is money? Money is not a physical thing. This is what people think. When they think about money, they think of a physical note, physical paper, that I am rich, and they visualize lots and lots of money. The truth of money is a frequency. It is an energy. It is a frequency of abundance. And what I'm going to share with you, that will shift the way you see money. So a frequency and energy, if you attach that to a form, then you will be attached to a form, like a note or lots of money physically. And you feel like you need to touch it, you need to see it, you need to feel it in order to feel rich. But that is not true. That is not the truth of money. The truth of money is that it is a vibration, it is a frequency. And vibration and frequency cannot be touched. It can only be felt. Right? That is what you have to understand. So instead of seeing money as a physical thing, I want you to start seeing money as something that you feel in your body. And most people, they don't have that connection with money. They have a very toxic relationship with money. They feel afraid of money. They feel fear around money. They feel if money leaves, that means they are not worthy, or they are not enough. Or what if money never comes back? What if they can't pay their bills? What if they can't have that investment that they desire? They are operating from fear state, worry state, the lack state. That's what they are operating from. And that state is only going to give you more of that fear, more of that worry, more of that lack. So we have to shift it. We have to see it from a perspective of it is a vibration that I need to feel it in my body. How do I feel around money? Do I feel happy when I have money? There are people that when they have money, they feel stress. They feel more stress having money. And that tells me they have a lot of money wound, that they feel like I have to spend this money. I have all of this money. How do I spend it? What do I do with it? right? So they start doing investments and they start letting the money go and thinking, oh, maybe I need to let that go. I need to make that investment. But if they're doing it from a fear state or worry state that I can't hold that much money, or they feel like, oh, somebody might take my money, I have to do something about it. Right? That is a very unhealthy relationship with money. We don't just want to make money, we want to hold money. We want to expand our vessel to create and hold money. That's what we want to do in order to have higher level of wealth. So think about, it's not just about making money. Think about, how do you feel if you don't have money? How do you feel if you receive lots of money? What is the first thing you feel like doing? Naturally, you probably feel like, I want to spend it. Next time that happens, I want you to sit with it. I want you to sit with money, not spending money. How does that feel? And really notice. And if you feel uncomfortable, if you feel like I need to do something, then there is some deeper money wound that are operating within you that is stopping you from holding money. Another way I want you to see it is, I want you to think about love. What is love? When we say love, can you see love? Can you touch love? Can you really hold love, like physically? Can you do that? And we can't do that because love is a concept. Love is a feeling. Love is that energy that you feel in your heart, that you feel that feeling of love, and you feel that emotion when you think about your loved one. When you love somebody deeply, you feel emotion. That is the exact energy we want for money. And I talk about wealth and abundance not because, money is everything, or abundance, or there's some sort of a greed, but I talk about wealth because I want to normalize the feeling of money. I want people to be normal around money. That's why I talk about it's not about the external things, it's more about internal feeling around money. How do you feel? Because your relationship with money really changes, because once you attract wealth and abundance, once you are wealthy, you can do bigger things. And my mission is for good people who are impactful, who are visionary, for them to be very wealthy, because those are the people who will change the world. Those are the people who will make bigger impact in the world in a positive way. So this is where the mission comes from. So this is why it is important. I want you to see money as love. And when you feel that, when you can change that relationship, the way you feel about love, and you start feeling about money, you will start seeing money differently. Because ultimately it is the feeling, it's not a physical thing, it's not about just buying things. And when people have that relationship, or money just mean I can spend it, and that is not abundance just by spending it. That's not true idea of abundance, because that tells me internally that you feel that you are there to only use money. And money doesn't want to be used. Money wants to be cherished. Money wants to be loved. Money wants to feel like a good friend, not somebody who you use and abuse and let go, and then you worry and fear. It's more like a toxic relationship. Like, if you can imagine a toxic relationship where when somebody ignores you, you feel more drawn towards it, or you feel the narcissistic person, when they ignore their partner, the partner feels more drawn towards it. They get more addicted to it. And most people have that relationship with money. They get addicted to making money, but ultimately they are so ready to let go of it as well when they have it. So it's that toxic loop between the person and the money, that they receive it and then they just want to spend it. So money feels used, not loved. So we want to switch that flip, and we want to see, if you really cherish something or you love somebody, what is that feeling? What is that energy? And that is the energy money wants to feel. Money wants to feel loved and cherished and respected and honored with grace. So how can you shift that? Instead of just having transactional relationship with money, how can you shift it to really feel and embody that energy of money so that you can hold it, so that you can create that bigger impact without suffering, without abandoning, without not feeling enough, right? So this is the truth around money. This is what I want you to really understand, and shortly I'll share with you how to create that wealth reality creation that really allows you to go deeper into creating that level of wealth that allows millions, that allows success. So, how do you create that wealth creation? What are the steps so that you can embody it fully? So, the number one step is to ignore your reality. The 3D reality, I want you to start ignoring, because your 3D reality is speaking the life of your past, of who you used to be, because your frequency and energy, the desire, if you want to embody the desired state, you must let go of this, of all the lack and all the belief around that you are not enough, you are not worthy, the shame, the guilt. And this is why I do the deeper work with my clients to release the wounds from the cellular system, from subconscious and from nervous system, to release all the wounding from a deeper level, from the root level, so that they can quantum leap, so that they can expand, so that they can create higher level of success from a congruent embodied state. Embodied state is so important. It's not about the knowledge in your mind. It's not about just being aware. It is actually about release, emotionally releasing all these wounding completely in order to shift and create that permanent shift. And that's why my clients have the results that they have, because they are internally shifting from a deepest level so that they can embody that higher frequency and higher energy. So this is why this work is extremely crucial in order to create the shift, in order to shift the frequency. So, and whilst you do that, you must ignore your reality, because your reality is speaking the past. It is not speaking about your future. Your desire is speaking about what has happened. And that's why we want to completely let go of what is in your bank account, how things are right now, what is the reality showing, what are the circumstances. We want to completely ignore. If you want to go deeper into that, I did a video on that. If you can check previous video, it's about ignoring your 3D reality, and I go deeper why that is important, and you will learn more about it. But it's so key to ignore your reality so that to embody your desires. And once you start ignoring the past, the circumstances, and your bank account, and I'll tell you my example, that there was a point when I did not have enough money in my bank. I already quit my corporate job and I was in this process of building this business. I had to have such a deeper level of faith in knowing that my bills will be paid. And there was a point where there were like £200 in my bank account, maybe $300, $400 in my bank account. And I had thousands of dollar bills coming in within few days. And I had such a deeper faith energetically, and I had to ignore that bank account completely. I did not buy into what was in my bank account, because I was operating from the desire. I knew the money is coming in. I knew deeply, knowing, energetically knew that is coming in, even though the bank account did not say that. I had such a strong faith that within few days I did get $10,000. Within few days it happened. So that is the level of faith. This is why you have to ignore it. It's hard, but that's where you have to grow internally. That's where you have to have a stronger faith in knowing your desires, knowing that you are meant for this. If you truly believe you're meant for this, if you had no fear, if you had no doubt, if you knew that you are meant for success, millions and impact, and millions of people are being impacted by your work, if you truly believe that in your body, then you would easily ignore what you see. That's the level of faith we have to have, because you are the co-creator of your life. You are the one. Universe is only matching you. only mirroring you, because God, universe wants you to know you have the power. So if you had that higher level of faith, what do you think you can do? What is possible for you? That is where the shift will occur, when you can have that faith, and you will be tested. Your faith will be tested. And my faith was tested. When I'm only seeing $300, $400 in my bank account, I had to ignore that in order to believe in my desires. So the money showed up. Thousands of dollars showed up because I believe that to be true. I believe my desire to be more real but than what I was seeing in my 3D, right? And that's where we have to be in order to shift our frequency to wealth. Believe in wealth, believe in your success so much that you ignore anything that is a mismatch to that desire. Anything that speaks negative of it, you ignore it fully. The next thing is your nervous system. So the more you will expand your nervous system, the more you are able to hold love and abundance. Love and abundance are on the same frequency. The more you expand and heal your nervous system, the more you are expanding your wealth capacity, more you will be able to hold wealth. That's why how we expand our wealth capacity, by expanding our nervous system, allowing our nervous system to be expanded. And that is so important, because our nervous system is really either contracts or expand. Contract in fear and worry, expand in love and abundance and ease and peace. So the more you feed yourself into peace and ease and gratitude and love and release all the wounding, the more your nervous system will be expanded. So that's the next thing. The third thing is, and it's a key thing that you have to work on. The third thing is your subconscious identity, the way you perceive yourself internally, the way you see yourself, how much love, how much faith, how much belief that you hold about yourself. And the more faith, more belief you hold about yourself, the more you will shift the way you see yourself. So releasing any identity wounding to really become congruent with your truth, with your light. Would you believe there's so many people who are believing that they are not worthy, they are not enough, even though externally they might look successful. Internally, they are still feeling not enough. The wounding is so deep that they may perform for the world that they are successful, but internally they are bleeding. Internally they are wounded. They are feeling not worthy. That is the deeper work that needs to be done in order to shift that, so that you actually see yourself with love. You actually become congruent with your truth, with your light, and be associated with, to match your desire. Because matching your desire is not just about making money, it's about who you become. Because it's not that the version of you right now will have that desire. It is the higher version of you that has that desire. So it's not about just creating success. It is actually shifting internally and rising into your identity, into your higher version. And when you rise into your higher version and shift your identity, then you become a match. So that internal shift, releasing that subconscious belief, not performing, not trying to please, not trying to be perfect, but being okay with being imperfect. When I started this YouTube journey, I was so imperfect. I still make mistakes. And I'm okay with it. I accept it. I embodied it. I am okay with, I have no shame around making mistakes. English is my second language. So sometimes I would say things. Sometimes I make mistakes in writing, but I don't shame it. I own it. I embodied it. I'm okay with it. I allow them to exist, that this is who I am, and I don't judge it. And because I don't judge myself, nobody else judges. It is all internal. So if I feel that if I make a mistake on a board, or if I say something wrong, people will laugh or people will think I'm less than, then that is my internal dialogue. It's nothing to do with other people. But if I tell myself internally that, I will attract people who will shame me, who will laugh at me, because I will be energetic match to those type of people. Does that make sense? So this is why internal shift is so important, internal shift in your identity, that even if I make mistake, that's okay. Even if I'm not perfect, that's okay. Even if I be humiliated publicly, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I own it. I embrace it. I love it. I love myself so deeply. Even if I'm humiliated publicly, I accept it. I accept me. I am still proud of me. And this is the change that needs to occur. Sometime intentionally, if I make the mistake, I would not change it or I would not rewrite it, because I want to just embrace it. So I would leave the mistake on the board. I don't really judge myself. I don't shame myself. I own it. So this is why the internal identity has to be so strong that doesn't matter what happens, you own yourself, embrace yourself with all the mistake, with all the imperfection, with all the things. And when you can do that, then nobody else will shame you or reject you or abandon you, because you stop abandoning yourself. You stop rejecting yourself. This is the level of belief and the level of faith you have to have in yourself in order to quantum leap, in order to create higher level of success. And if you are ready for that level of success and wealth, then you can click the link below to apply for my mentoring, to really go deeper into your own inner wounding that requires in order to have a quantum leap. So you can click the link below to apply for my mentoring. Other than that, you can register for Quantum Money happening on 26th of July, and I will see you there. With that, like this video if you like this video, and subscribe to my channel, and may the light in me reaches the light in you.